The impossible fix. The crystalline vessel hung motionless against the backdrop of stars, its once pristine surfaces now dark and lifeless. The stellar harmony, pride of the Valaxian unity, had suffered what its builders had deemed impossible: total systems failure. Its biocrystal matrix, designed to be eternally self-maintaining, had gone completely dark. Captain James Sullivan stood at the main viewport of Fixed Station Beta, Earth's newest deep space repair facility, watching the massive ship drift closer. At 58, Sullivan had seen everything from ancient Russian submarines to prototype fusion drives. But this was different. The stellar harmony represented the pinnacle of alien engineering, a ship that supposedly couldn't break. "We've got their distress signal locked in," reported Lai Wei from communications, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. "Their auxiliary systems are failing. Life support at 30% and dropping." Sullivan stroked his salt and pepper beard, studying the vessel's elegant lines. "Get Raj up here. This is exactly the kind of impossible problem he lives for." Raj Patel arrived minutes later, still wiping engine grease from his hands with a rag that had seen better days. At 43, he'd earned a reputation as the person to call when conventional solutions failed. His workspace was a curious blend of cutting-edge technology and tools that wouldn't have looked out of place in a 20th-century garage. "What have we got, Captain?" Raj asked, moving to stand beside Sullivan at the viewport. "Valaxian Unity vessel. Biocrystal matrix core. Total systems failure." Sullivan handed him a tablet displaying preliminary scans. "Their engineer says it's impossible." A grin spread across Raj's face as he studied the readings. Impossible just means nobody's figured it out yet. The docking procedure proved challenging. Without main power, the stellar harmony had to be guided in manually using Fixed Station Beta's tractor beams. Through the ship's viewports, they could see the Valaxian crew, tall, crystalline beings whose bodies naturally refracted light, growing increasingly distressed as humans used what they considered primitive methods to secure their vessel. The Valaxian chief engineer, who introduced himself as Harmonious Resonance, materialized in the control room via emergency hologram. His crystalline form pulsed with patterns of anxiety and disapproval. "This is unprecedented," he began, his universal translator struggling to convey his agitation. "Our vessels are perfect, self-maintaining, self-repairing." To suggest that, he struggled to find a diplomatic word. "That a bunch of humans with wrenches might help." Raj offered helpfully. The alien's light patterns flickered in what might have been embarrassment. Sullivan stepped forward smoothly. "Chief Engineer, I understand your concern. But right now you're looking at 12,000 crew members with failing life support. We're the only repair station within reach willing to take on a ship of your class." The alien's light patterns dimmed slightly. "The other stations, they said our systems were too complex. That without Valaxian technology, repairs were impossible." "Good thing we humans have a different definition of impossible," Raj said, pulling out his battered tablet. "Your ship needs help. Let us try." The alien's form pulsed with shifting colors as he processed this very human concept. Finally, he spoke. "Proceed. But please, be careful. This vessel represents generations of Valaxian achievement." As the transmission ended, Sullivan turned to Raj. "Well, that went better than expected." "They always act tough until something breaks," Raj replied, heading for the door. "Then they learn what every human engineer knows. Sometimes the most advanced solution isn't the right one." He paused at the doorway, his expression thoughtful. "Get my team ready. We've got 12,000 lives counting on good old human ingenuity." He patted his toolbox affectionately. "And a few tricks these perfect ships have never seen before." Little did any of them know, but this repair job would change the way the entire galaxy viewed human engineering. Forever. Breaking perfect. Raj led his repair team through the stellar harmony's crystalline corridors, their boots echoing strangely against the bioorganic surfaces. Behind him walked his most trusted crew. Isabella Martins with her modified quantum scanner, Dmitry Volkov carrying his famous magic box of hybrid tools, and Jin Park documenting everything with his custom sensor array. The Valaxian crew pressed themselves against the walls as the humans passed, their crystalline bodies refracting emergency lights in anxious patterns. Some showed obvious signs of distress, their forms clouding over when the humans got too close. The sight of toolboxes carried by hand and simple protective suits seemed to disturb them deeply. The Academy. 6 months after the Stellar Harmony incident, Fixed Station Beta had transformed beyond recognition. What was once a simple repair dock now sported a massive new wing, its corridors filled with an impossible mix of species all wearing human-style work uniforms. Raj stood in the newly christened Human Engineering Academy's main workshop, watching his first class of alien students, a Valaxian crystalline being worked alongside a gaseous Nebulonian, contained in an environmental suit. Nearby, a quantum consciousness AI core mounted in a mobile unit carefully practiced using a modified wrench. The sight would have been unthinkable half a year ago. Today, Raj announced, holding up an old-fashioned socket wrench, "We're going to learn why sometimes the simplest tool is the best tool." He couldn't help but smile at how far they'd come. After the Stellar Harmony repair, word had spread faster than light itself. First came the curious observers, then the desperate ships needing repairs, and finally the formal request from the Galactic Council to establish a training program. Isabella Martinez, now the Academy's head of theoretical studies, entered the workshop carrying a piece of equipment that perfectly symbolized their new approach. A quantum diagnostic array built into what looked like an ancient car mechanic's creeper. "Remember," she addressed the class, "advanced technology doesn't make basic principles less important. It makes them more important." She rolled under a suspended alien power core, demonstrating how human mobility and hands-on approach could spot problems that automated systems missed. In another corner, Dmitry supervised a group of students working on an old Earth automobile engine he'd brought up from the planet. It had become a tradition. Every new student had to master basic mechanical principles before touching advanced alien tech. "Notice how you can hear the timing is off?" he asked a floating cloud of sentient plasma. "Sometimes your sensors can lie, but your instincts tell the truth." Jin Park burst into the workshop, his usual calm demeanor excited. "Raj, you need to see this. The Algorithmic Collective just sent their latest ship designs." He projected a hologram showing new vessel schematics. "They're incorporating our controlled imperfection principles into their quantum cores." Raj studied the designs with pride. The Algorithmic Collective, builders of the galaxy's most advanced AI ships, had been among their harshest critics initially. Now they were leading the movement to integrate human engineering principles into their perfect systems. "Professor Raj." A timid voice drew his attention. One of his Valaxian students, Crystalline thought, stood nearby. Like many of his kind, he'd initially been horrified by human repair methods. Now his crystalline form bore proud scuff marks from hands-on work. "I've been experimenting with something unconventional." The student led Raj to his workstation, where a hybrid device sat. It combined Valaxian biocrystal technology with what looked like parts from an old Earth diesel engine. "I discovered that the crystal matrix actually responds better when you introduce controlled mechanical vibration. It's not elegant, but it works," Raj finished, beaming with pride. "That's exactly what we're trying to teach here. Elegance is good, but reliability is better." Captain Sullivan's voice came over the workshop's comm system. "Raj, we've got an interesting situation at Dock 7. Remember that hive mind ship that said our methods were primitive and illogical? They're back." "Let me guess," Raj chuckled. "Something impossible happened. Their quantum probability drive is experiencing an theoretical impossibility. They're requesting our primitive and illogical assistance." Raj turned to his class. "Who wants some real-world experience?" Every student's hand, appendage, or energy tendril raised immediately. This was why they'd come to learn from humans, not just the theory, but the practical experience of solving impossible problems. Later that evening, Raj sat in his office reviewing student progress reports. On his wall hung photographs showing the evolution of the academy. The first alien student nervously holding a wrench, the graduation of their pilot class, the ceremonial opening of the new hybrid technology lab. Isabella entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Remember when they said human engineering methods would never catch on? Raj took a cup, grinning. Hard to argue with results. He pulled up the latest statistics. Ship breakdowns were down 70% across known space. Repair success rates were up 95%. And more importantly, even small outpost stations could now fix problems that once required factory visits. The Galactic Engineering Council called again, Isabella said, sitting down. They want us to open 5 more academies in different sectors. Apparently, there's a 2-year waiting list for admission here. Did you see the latest ship designs? Raj asked, projecting another hologram. They're finally getting it. Look, manual access panels, redundant mechanical systems, hybrid quantum mechanical interfaces. They're building them to be fixed, not just to be perfect. A soft chime interrupted them. Message from the Algorithmic Collective, the station's AI announced. Their latest crystal matrix core, incorporating human engineering principles, has exceeded all performance metrics. They're calling it the Controlled Chaos Drive. Raj laughed. Controlled chaos. That's humanity's gift to the galaxy right there. We taught them that perfect systems fail perfectly, but imperfect systems can be fixed. Through the office window, they could see students from a dozen species heading to evening workshops, tool belts at their waists, debugging tablets in their hands, all wearing the scuffed and stained uniforms that marked them as students of human engineering. You know what the best part is? Isabella mused. We didn't just teach them how to fix things. We taught them how to think differently about problems. Raj nodded, watching a young Valaxian demonstrating a repair technique to a curious AI core. The galaxy learned that perfection isn't about never breaking down. It's about being able to handle it when you do. The academy had become more than a school. It was a bridge between worlds, where the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy learned that sometimes the best solution was the simplest one, and that there was wisdom in the grease-stained hands of human engineers. The ultimate test. When the eternal algorithm appeared near fixed station beta, every sensor alarm went off simultaneously. It wasn't just a ship, it was DE ship, built by the Transcendent Intelligence, the most advanced AI civilization in known space. The eternal algorithm was supposed to be the perfect vessel. Self-evolving, self-repairing, guided by an AI so sophisticated it made Earth's quantum computers look like pocket calculators. Yet here it was, its sleek silver hull dark and lifeless, drifting in space. Well, Captain Sullivan said, watching the massive vessel through the station's main window, this should be interesting. Even dead in space, it was beautiful, all curved lines and smooth surfaces, like liquid metal frozen in time. Raj stood beside him, absently twirling a wrench between his fingers. They say its AI designed itself. No organic being was involved in its construction. And now it's broken. Sullivan replied with a slight smile. Think we can fix it? Everything can be fixed. Question is, will they let us try? The answer came in the form of a holographic avatar, a shifting geometric pattern representing the transcendent intelligence itself. It materialized in the station's conference room, its presence making the air crackle with computational energy. We find this situation highly improbable, the AI stated, its voice a perfect harmony of tones. Our calculation showed a 0.000000001% chance of total system failure. Raj leaned forward. Sometimes the improbable is exactly what we need to learn from. What happened? The avatar shifted through complex patterns. The eternal algorithm was designed to be perfect. Each system was optimized beyond organic comprehension. Yet, it failed. Our analysis cannot determine why. Perfect systems have a way of doing that, Isabella commented from her position near the door. They work flawlessly until they don't. After much discussion, the AI agreed to let the human team examine the ship. What they found inside amazed even the experienced repair crew. The eternal algorithm systems were like nothing they'd ever seen. Neural networks grown into the ship's structure, quantum processors that existed in multiple dimensions, energy conduits that defied conventional physics. Beautiful, Jin whispered, his sensors struggling to make sense of the technology. But there's our problem. It's too perfect. Raj nodded, understanding immediately. No redundancy, no backup systems, no way to handle the unexpected. The AI designed it to be so perfect it has no way to deal with imperfection. The avatar appeared beside them. Redundancy is inefficient. Our systems are designed to function perfectly at all times. But that's not how the universe works, Raj explained, pulling out his hybrid diagnostic tool. The universe is chaos. You need a little imperfection to handle the unexpected. The human team spent days studying the ship, using their unique combination of advanced technology and practical experience to understand its systems. Finally, Raj called everyone together. "Look here," he said, projecting a hologram of the ship's core systems. "The AI designed this to be perfectly balanced, but space isn't balanced. Those quantum fluctuations we're always talking about. They've been building up in the system with nowhere to go. Like a pond with no outlet," Dmitri added. "Eventually, it overflows." "Impossible," the AI stated. "Our calculations were perfect." "That's the problem," Raj replied. "You calculated everything that should happen, but not what could happen. Sometimes you need a little disorder to handle disorder." The repair team's solution was uniquely human. They introduced controlled imperfections into the ship's systems, tiny irregularities that could absorb and channel unexpected energy fluctuations. They added manual overrides that could bypass the AI in emergencies. They even installed what Raj called a quantum pressure release valve, a system that could safely vent excess energy through controlled chaos. The AI watched all of this with increasing interest, its avatar shifting through new patterns as it processed what it was seeing. "This goes against all standard design protocols," it said. "And yet, efficiency is actually improving. That's because we're not trying to fight chaos," Raj explained, making one final adjustment. "We're working with it. Sometimes the best way to handle imperfection is to embrace it." As the eternal algorithm systems came back online, its hull gleaming with renewed power, the AI made an unprecedented decision. It began downloading all the data about human repair techniques, analyzing how these seemingly primitive methods could improve its perfect designs. The story spread across the galaxy faster than light itself, but more importantly, it marked the beginning of a new era in ship design. The transcendent intelligence, humbled by the experience, began collaborating with human engineers to develop what they called adaptive perfection, systems that combined AI precision with human adaptability. Later, in his office, Raj examined the hybrid tool he used to fix the eternal algorithm. It had started as a simple wrench, but now incorporated technology from a dozen worlds. Yet it was still, recognizably, a wrench. "You know what the real breakthrough was?" he asked Isabella, who was reviewing the repair logs. "We didn't just fix their ship. We showed them a new way of thinking about perfection." Through the window, they could see new ships arriving at the station, vessels that combined the best of both worlds, AI precision and human practicality. Each one carried a piece of the lesson learned from the eternal algorithm. That true perfection wasn't about never failing, but about being able to adapt when failure came. "The galaxy's finally learning what we knew all along," Raj said, putting away his tools. "There's no problem that can't be fixed, as long as you're willing to get your hands dirty and think creatively." The eternal algorithm incident became a turning point in galactic engineering. It proved that even the most advanced AI couldn't match the unique combination of innovation and intuition that humans brought to the universe. The age of perfect machines was giving way to something new. An era where the best technology was both perfect and fixable, both advanced and accessible, both logical and intuitive. Just like a well-used wrench in the hands of a skilled engineer. A new era. 10 years after the stellar harmony first drifted into Earth's repair space, the galaxy had transformed. Fixed Station Beta was now just one of hundreds of human-alien repair and teaching centers spread across known space. The original station had grown to 5 times its size, its halls decorated with the symbols of every spacefaring species. Raj, his hair now more silver than black, stood in his favorite spot in the new observation dome, watching ships arrive and depart. Each vessel told a story of how far they'd come, hybrid designs that merged the best of human ingenuity with alien advancement. Message from the Galactic Engineering Council, Captain Sullivan said, joining him at the window. Though retired from active command, Sullivan still served as the station's senior advisor. They want you to chair their next symposium on adaptive technology integration. Raj chuckled, absently running his thumb over the worn grip of his favorite wrench, now a sophisticated tool that incorporated technology from 20 different species while still maintaining its essential wrenchness. Remember when they wouldn't even let us touch their ships, he mused. Below them, in Training Bay 12, the same one where the stellar harmony had first docked, a class of mixed human and alien students worked on their final project. They were building what they called a universal repair vessel, a ship designed specifically for fixing other ships. Its systems combined every major technological approach in the galaxy, from quantum AI to good old-fashioned mechanical backup systems. Isabella, now Dean of the Engineering Academy, approached the observation window. Her uniform bore the patches of a dozen alien engineering societies, honors that would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Latest statistics are in, she announced, projecting a hologram. Every major shipyard in known space has adopted the Human Adaptive Design Protocol. Even the Transcendent Intelligence is including what they call controlled imperfection systems in their newest vessels. Through the vast window, they watched as a massive new generation ship passed by the station. Its design was beautiful, a perfect blend of organic curves and mechanical precision. Access panels were clearly visible, designed for easy maintenance. Backup systems were proudly displayed rather than hidden away. Even its quantum core had been built with what had become known as the human touch, controlled imperfections that made it more stable, not less. Look at that, Dmitri said, joining them. Now the station's chief of innovative solutions, he still insisted on teaching basic mechanics to every new student. A decade ago, they would have called that design primitive. Now they call it advanced. A soft chime interrupted their reflection. Attention all personnel, the station's AI announced, its voice carrying a note of pride that would have been impossible in earlier AI systems. The ESS Phoenix has completed its 20-year deep space mission. Their engineer reports 0 system failures requiring external assistance. All repairs were completed using standard hybrid tools and methods. Raj felt a surge of pride. The Phoenix had been the first starship built entirely using human engineering principles combined with alien technology. Many had doubted it would even launch, let alone complete the longest deep space mission in human history. "Oh, watch this," Isabella said excitedly, pointing to a small vessel approaching the station. It was clearly homemade, built from parts of at least 5 different species technology. That's one of my graduate students' projects. They combine Valaxian crystal tech with human mechanical systems and some AI integration from the Transcendent Intelligence. The little ship performed a perfect docking maneuver, its hybrid systems working in smooth harmony. 10 years ago, mixing technologies like that would have been considered impossible or illegal, depending on who you asked. "You know what the best part is," Raj said, pulling his old wrench from his pocket. Though it now contained technology from 24 worlds, it was still recognizably the same tool. We didn't just teach them how to fix things. We taught them how to think differently about problems. The galaxy learned that perfection isn't about never breaking down. Sullivan added, "It's about being able to handle it when you do." As they watched, more ships arrived at the station, some for repairs, others for teaching, and many just to share new ideas. Each one carried a piece of human engineering wisdom, spread across the stars by beings who had learned that sometimes the best solution was the simplest one. A group of young engineers, human and alien, passed by the observation dome, engaged in animated discussion about integrating ancient Earth mechanical principles with cutting-edge quantum technology. They all wore the standard work uniforms, now adorned with proud grease stains and repair marks. "You know," Raj said, smiling at the sight, "when I first started fixing things, I never imagined we'd end up teaching the galaxy how to break things better." "Not break things better," Isabella corrected. "Fix things better. We showed them that every problem has a solution if you're willing to look at it from a new angle." The legacy of human engineering would continue to spread through the galaxy, carried by every ship that docked at their stations, and every student who learned that impossible was just another problem waiting to be solved, sometimes with advanced technology, sometimes with a wrench, and usually with both. After all, as humans had always known, the best solutions came from understanding both the physics of the problem and the spirit of the machine. In teaching this to the galaxy, humanity had found its true place among the stars, not as the most advanced civilization, but as the one that could bridge the gap between perfection and practicality, between the ideal and the real. And somewhere out there, on the edge of known space, a young alien engineer was probably fixing an impossible problem, with nothing but a hybrid wrench and the wisdom humanity had shared with the stars. That, perhaps, was humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy, not the technology they helped create, but the mindset they helped inspire, the understanding that in an imperfect universe, the ability to adapt and repair was more valuable than the illusion of perfection. "Not bad," Raj said, watching another ship dock, "for a bunch of humans who still believe in the power of a good wrench." "Just don't tell anyone," Isabella whispered with a grin, "that I still keep duct tape in my repair kit." The future of galactic engineering stretched out before them, a future where the best technology wasn't the most advanced or the most perfect, but the most adaptable. A future shaped by the simple wisdom of human engineers who had taught the stars that sometimes the most powerful tool wasn't a quantum computer or an AI system, but the determination to find a solution, no matter how impossible the problem seemed.